Somebody else joined the stage just after the ambassador concluded, and please join me in welcoming Jaeson Ma, who's he's a serial entrepreneur who's done almost everything in the world of media and entertainment, except you didn't get a production credit on Everything Everywhere All at Once, I don't think.
I unfortunately didn't get the opportunity.
Didn't get that one, but I was just speaking with Jaeson before the event about the incredible work he's doing on the technical side. He's the founder and CEO of a Web3 company called OP Reverse, that is a 3N, which is a global Web3 super app. Lots of jargon there, it really matters. Everyone should get into blockchain technology and understand that blockchain creates decentralization possibilities that are unprecedented. I know you're personally committed to empowering creators using Web3 technologies to lower production costs and make it easier for people to distribute content around the world. As I told you, we have a digital assets initiative at Marshall, which is all in on this topic, so it's fantastic to have you here. In some of the credits that Jaeson has in his career are quite amazing, including being an investor and advisor to companies like Tencent Music Entertainment and Musical.ly, which became TikTok, as well as Grab, one of the most important super apps in Southeast Asia, and Coinbase, the largest crypto exchange in the United States. So that's an incredible career. Jaeson, I'm going to assume the center seat, but do that by asking you a question, which is, could you talk about the importance of the diversity and representation movement as it's affecting all of our cultural and creative industries today? Welcome, and thanks for your response.
Thank you, Dean Barrett. First of all, Ambassador Tai, that was probably the most eloquent, powerful, and historically accurate depiction and speech and understanding of the NHPI movements. And so just thank you for an immaculate, perfect speech to represent our community.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Like, you hit on everything. I always, I grew up in a single parent home. My mother and father immigrated from Hong Kong. They were actually the first Hong Kong students ever accepted at Pepperdine University. And then we ended up growing up in the Bay Area, and I always say that you only aspire to be what you can see. And if you can't see yourself on the screen, where Allen Ginsberg once said, whoever controls media controls the minds and behavior of culture. And so for me, growing up, I only saw, unfortunately or fortunately, Bruce Lee, a guy on PBS named Yan can cook, so can you. Jackie Chan. And quite interestingly, a friend of mine, Norman, who's the CEO of the Asian American Foundation, and he launched a nonprofit to support and stop Asian hate called Launch. They did a Gallup poll, and they asked, I think, 5,000 Americans, who's the most recognizable Asian American that you can name? And who do you guys think it is?
Bruce Lee. Lin Sanity.
Nice one. Oh. Jeremy Lin, no. I wish it was. He's a buddy of mine. I was there the first game. And unfortunately, you're all wrong. Almost 50% all said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
They don't know Ambassador Tai. They don't even know Vice President Harris is South Asian. They don't know that Michelle Yeoh is Asian. And to me, after that was Bruce Lee, then it was Jackie Chan, who both are my heroes, but both are not Asian American. And so for me, growing up, I realized as an Asian American, our parents, wanted us to succeed. And so in our first generation, it was to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, investment bankers, or serve in the cabinet. But I realized as an Asian American, after being here for now 42 years of my life, I was born in Lubbock, Texas, and grew up in the Bay Area, it's not enough as Asian Americans to be successful. We have to learn and earn to be powerful. And what I mean by powerful, it's about influence and it's about public service. And I think for too long, this model minority myth that we're quiet, that we don't say anything when we are wronged, that we just go with the flow is absolutely a misnomer that needs to be debunked. We need to speak up. We need to have a voice, and we need to speak out. So for me, as an entrepreneur, I realized as an Asian American, I would always have to fight to get into Hollywood, whether that's through the mailroom at CAA or whether that's trying to get an executive position. And I knew unless I could become a decision maker myself, I can actually impact and influence change. So for me, it was always not about getting a seat at the table, it was about creating my own table. And so I started a company called 88 Rising. We're now the fastest growing digital music label that's venture capital backed in the world, representing Asian culture and Asian artists from Asia to the West and to the rest of the world. If you haven't been to our concert, Head in the Clouds, it's right down the street at the Rose Bowl, 40,000 every year in September.
This
No
way,
shame.
I think the Rose Bowl was.
That way, no shame plug. But I say that because now we are at a place where there's everything everywhere all at once. There is a Netflix #1 series show called Beef with Ali Wong and Stephen Yeun. There is Crazy Rich Asians, which I was able to help produce. My co-founder for Stampede Ventures, our Hollywood studio, is Greg Silverman. He was the former president of Warner Brothers, and he was the only president of a studio that said yes to Crazy Rich Asians because they literally said to him, Greg, all Asian cast, where's Singapore? What's the comp? Joyla Club? And everyone passed, and he just read the book and said, this is crazy funny. It's a Cinderella story, happens to happen in a place called Singapore. Why not? It became the biggest box office rom-com smash hit in the last decade. Don't tell me Asians don't make money in Hollywood, all right? But because of projects like Crazy Rich Asians, like 88 Rising, Blackpink, BTS at Coachella, Everything Everywhere All at Once, we're now finally being seen. I want to say one last thing is, as an Asian American man, many times we feel emasculated. We're known as the geeks, the pizza boy, the nerd, the scientist in Godzilla that's in the room, just punching in the numbers. But when Hollywood first began, there was a Japanese American leading man named Setsu Hayakawa. Okay, during the time of Frank Sinatra, during the time of Rudolph Valentino, he was the hottest, most swooned after by white women, black women, brown women, and gold or yellow women. And because he was such a heartthrob, he was Asian American. Look him up on Wikipedia. Stunning. Brad Pitt, peace. Setsu Hayakawa, yes. But they were so threatened by him being a leading man that they literally said, we can't have this. We can't let Asian men be seen as attractive, as powerful, as influential, as intellectual, astute. And so they started typecasting him in villain roles. And then they started creating roles and rules like Asian American men and women actors and actresses cannot kiss anyone of a different race. All the way up until 20 years ago when Jet Li and Aaliyah made a movie called Romeo Must Die, where it was based upon Romeo and Juliet. The whole entire movie, Jet Li was not able to have any romance with Aaliyah because still within Hollywood DNA and culture, it was wrong for an Asian American man to be sexual, to be romantic. That has to change, and that is changing. And so for me, my passion, my heart, is to represent Asian culture and mainstream media the right way. My mission has always been to bridge East and West through media, entertainment, and technology, through stories and talent. And I've done that through the 6 companies that I started. With Web3, I want to empower every artist to be able to own their ideas and be direct with their communities without a middle layer. All that to be said is, Ambassador Tai, thank you for letting us see you. And I know that there's young Asian American girls and young Asian American boys that because of a speech like that, that gets broadcast around this country and around the world, and seeing you on that stage, they go, one day, I can be powerful.
So I have here on that, and I do think your core message about representation, if you don't see it, you can't be it, is one that we certainly feel powerfully in the university context, which is why we're so committed. You know, we've done a great job, I think, of diversifying our student body. We have to diversify the faculty because people need to see